All right, so let's talk about your portfolio website. So as part of the course, you are required to create a portfolio site, as you know. The way this generally works is that you pick, well, usually your first name or some shorter version of it, right? Dot, well, let's say ipd23.com, right? You create a subdomain on the hosting, and then you upload a website to it that is going to be your portfolio, right? The content of the portfolio. All right, so you should have your contact information. I mean, as much as you're comfortable sharing there. All right, you could just do an email and link to your LinkedIn profile. That's fine too, right? So they can contact you this way. List of skills, education, kind of the same as what you have on your CV, right? You should have a link to well, link. You should include a PDF to your CV as well, right? And probably a photo too. I mean, your photo is already on LinkedIn. You can't, don't include photos on CVs. That actually, you probably know that they will have to reject it if you do. So don't do that. But you have your photo on LinkedIn. They can actually see your face. You have the same photo probably on your website. That's a good idea. They kind of get familiar with you without actually meeting you yet. Um, in terms of the actual portfolio content, right? There's going to be two or three things depending, well, for now just two. So you did earlier in your IPD, you had a website design course, right? So you did a project there, you had a website, so you include that showing of your HTML, CSS, and maybe some JavaScript skills, right? You can upload that to another domain under ipd20.com and link to it. Depending on the design of the project, some of them will work fine as a subdirectory. You can just put them in a subdirectory. Some of them won't, so that's up to you. But you can certainly create another subdomain under IPD20, well, 23 for you actually, and link to it. PHP project, right? So once you're done here, you do the same thing. You link your project to your portfolio, right? You also will link, so there's a few things here. One, live project. Two, link to PDF or PowerPoint presentation, right? So once you have your presentation, right, on the last day of the class, you upload that and you add that to your portfolio as well. I will be looking for it when I'm evaluating your portfolio. Three, link to Git repository of the project. Yes, yes, the link to the source code, absolutely. Okay. You can add any other projects in the future. So when you do the .NET, assuming you do a project there, or we do a project there, in the ASP.NET, I mean, ASP.NET or ASP.NET. Right, so for the .NET project, now that depends on teachers. Some teachers do a project in the .NET courses, most don't, but with me, you guys did it. So since you have it, you will also include your .NET project, your same thing really, PowerPoint of your presentation, right? You can't really add a live version of it, of this one, and a link to Git repository of your source code. Yes, yes, you do want to show the source code as well, okay? And then we'll have a third one, that one's for the future, ASP, and again, that depends on teacher. If you have this one with me, we'll actually do a project and you'll have another piece for your portfolio, right? So ASP.NET project and live project hosted in the cloud, right? So that's the general idea. And let me just show you a few examples of how other students from the previous groups have done that. Okay, so actually I'm going to pull up first. There we go. So here's one. Some of them I like more than others. So here's the first one, right? So I'm a web developer. Okay, fine. Kind of fancy fonts and so on, right? There's a menu there, right? About me, right? Resume, right? Skills, front and back end. Okay, that's good. Recent project. This is for me the most important part. I'm not too crazy about how this is presented here, but it's not terrible, right? There's source code. So let's say there's a PHP here project, right? So there's pizza. There you go. So here's a pizza. I can actually create an account. You can actually go in here and create an account and log in, right? It should work fine, right? So somebody not knowing you, they can actually utilize your project. By the way, if you want them to, if you want to give them, for example, admin privileges, which you may or may not, or you want to create, you could actually, what you could do, maybe admin privileges may not be a good idea, but you could actually, let's say, have a login. You could put a comment here at the bottom saying, demo account is email demo@demo.com, password demo123, right? You can actually tell them, so they don't have to go through the registration, but they can still experience what's it like to be logged into your system. Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty nice actually. This worked out okay. I mean, it was not, it's no, actually it worked okay. Yeah, there you go. So it's a kind of an e-commerce application, but specializing with for pizzas. Okay, so that was one. Here is the source code, very important. Right, here's the source code. And of course, presentation as well. Right, there we go. This one was actually really nice. This presentation was really good. But I see how clear it is. I mean, yeah, the tables are a little small, but I mean, there's just a lot of them. It was a very complicated project. We did extend the time of PHP course for this group, so they have an extra few days. But still, this was a really nice. Look at how nicely the slides are. They just include just enough source code to explain whatever they need to explain, without actually, being unreadable or overwhelming. So yeah, I really like that. Very nicely done. Okay, so that was one. Let's just look at another one. I had a few here. Okay, hold on. Actually, let's go back here to, so we have Fluffy Pet. So there's a .NET. Now, .NET, depending where it's hosted, unfortunately, hosting that with Google, what we did in most cases, their hosting expires after a while, but there's still source code and there's still presentation here, right? For that project, here's the source code, here's the presentation. So that's good. And then we have microbrewery. I think this was done by that person after all the courses. I think this is maybe some of their freelance work or some demo for somebody, because I don't recall actually, unless this was their, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, fine. So this was, I think, their project in website design. Yes, that's why. Okay, so it was earlier work. Okay, so that was their first project from website design. Okay, let's close this. Let's continue here. So here's another one, different style. By the way, guys, you please make sure you don't plagiarize things. Yes, I'm showing you portfolios, right? But this is not about grabbing this HTML and just putting your info in it. I need you to create things on your own. Now, you can use other frameworks, other tools. You could even use WordPress if you really want to. I'm okay with that. But please just steer clear of plagiarizing things, right? No copying. You can reuse things that are published, like WordPress. Yes, I'm okay with that. You can write your own website with the PHP tools that we learn about, PHP, Twig, Slim, and so on. That's okay too, right? But copying, straight out CSS and so on from people who've done it, please don't do that. I'll see it, and the consequences will not be pleasant. It has to be your own work. All right, so here is another portfolio, right? This one's not bad. I'm not sure I like this idea of showing, how good you are at different skills. Maybe, but no, not a big fan of this. Okay, so here's a resume. I like that section. Very nice, clear, right? Graphically pleasing, has everything that there needs to be there, right? Portfolio. So it's okay. There is code, again, some English issues, view codes. I think source code would have been more appropriate, but here's source code for car rental system. Here's the presentation. There you go. Presentation is nice. This one was also pretty nice. Look at the quality of this, right? Okay, look, database, exactly how it should be presented, right? Technologies used, and so on, so on, right? Very nice. I like that. And then we had daycare. Yeah, There's another one. Not sure. Again, I like the way this is done here with the overlays. It's a little hard to do, and yeah, this one actually doesn't work, unfortunately. Contact info, yeah. Now you may or may not want to put your phone number there. That's up to you, but you can definitely put an email there. And LinkedIn, there you go. They actually have a LinkedIn account here linked. There we go. Okay. All right. Good. Forward. So next, let's just keep going. There's just a few more I want to show you. Here's another one. We'll go quicker through those. So I'm a web developer, about me, education, right, IPD, and so on. Right, skills. I like that. That's a nice list, right? Projects. Okay, there you go. So you've got C# project. Now C#, you can't really do a live demo, but your presentation should include screenshots, right? So that should be okay. ASP.NET, pet care. This one doesn't work because it was hosted on Google again. Spring, okay, interesting. Here's source code though, but no demo, regrettably. JavaScript and so on. You guys get the idea, right? Okay, let me just show you. I think I got a couple more. This one wasn't too great. So I think this one will be the last one, right? So you'll have here another. This one is nice graphically, but you may or not see that over Zoom, but there's some issues here. The pictures, when I'm scrolling, are jumping. So there's some issue here with this effect. It's called parallax, the effect, but it's kind of, there's some issues there with the performance of it. Okay, so here's my work and so on, contact me, map and so on. This one's okay. I'm not thrilled with that, right? But it's okay. No actual link to the website, just a photo, just a screenshot of it. So it's a little disappointing. So I had one of those ASP.NET project that is still alive, and what they did, they used hosting in Heroku, which is still alive. So that's nice. They can actually register a free account with them. Again, that's for the next course, not for the current one. That's for the ASP.NET. You can actually sign up for free here, and they give you 1 year. The way they do it is that your application gets started, because there is actually kind of a thin virtual machine they have to start up when somebody accesses your website. If nobody accesses your website for about 30 minutes or so, they actually shut it down completely. So they're able to give you actually access for free, which is really nice. So Heroku is actually a great option for hosting in the next course. Okay, guys, any questions on the portfolio side? Anything here, the requirements and so on? All right, so that's all we need to know about portfolio.